Tonight, we're going live to a special Frank Luntz focus group to hear what the voters in Indiana think about these candidates and the critical role that now falls to them. Frank, take it away.
Megan, they're excited to be here, and they're excited to be the decision makers. First question for you all. You're aware, obviously, of the Kasich-Cruz compact, correct? Yes. By a show of hands, how many of you are bothered by it? That's an awful lot of people. What's the problem?
It's backroom deals. They don't really care about what's going on with us, the voters.
But isn't it just like what politicians do to help themselves get elected?
And that's why we don't want them.
Do you have a problem with it, Jessica?
They really, if they were going to do this, they should have done it a long time ago. If they're really going to stop him, it's way past time to do that.
It looks desperate.
Yeah. It looks desperate? How does it look desperate?
Again, if they were going to do this, they should have done it a long time ago. Now it looks like they're just grasping at straws.
Yeah, same old problem. Yeah, what's the
in the back?
Supposed to be the Republican Party, and these two people on the guy's team are colluding against him to knock him out. What's with that?
and colluding against the will of the voters, in my opinion.
That's pretty strong. Do you think they don't care about you? Do you think these candidates care about you?
No, they care about themselves.
But they've been campaigning, and they've been spending money, and they've been engaged, and they all were here today, and you don't think they care about you?
You have to take out of consideration what these men have done in the past, from their time fighting for the Constitution, fighting against Obamacare, fighting against amnesty. You have to negate all of that to say they don't care about us. They took on the entire Washington establishment for us for the last several years.
But if everyone is fighting and fighting and fighting, then we find that nothing gets done. So, you know, that's one of my fears is that if we get someone in there that cannot get along with anyone, then we're going to end up with the dysfunction that we've got right now.
And who do you fear the most that can't get along?
Ted Cruz.
Ted Cruz? Go ahead.
Yeah, Donald Trump knows how to make a deal, and he's talked about compromise, and that's just the way you have to do it. We've watched Cruz do nothing. We've watched Kasich side with the establishment. We want someone to represent us, and Trump will do it.
Kasich was in the Bill Clinton White House. I mean, he
as a member of Congress.
As a member of Congress, he balanced the budget under Bill Clinton. They were in a $5 billion surplus. That's something that Cruz has not done. He has not worked with Obama. So in Ohio, as governor, he has dropped unemployment.
Okay, we're not doing a campaign commercial here.
No, but he
Parker,
can
how
work
old are
with
you?
bipartisan.
I'm 19 years old.
You're 19, so this is your first vote.
It is.
Who are you going to cast it for?
I'm for Ted Cruz.
Why?
Because I feel like he's the most consistently conservative candidate out of the whole group. And
so for you, it's just ideology.
Yeah.
He is the only constitutional conservative running.
You shouldn't go with anyone else.
Say it again.
He is the only constitutional conservative running.
So I got to ask you, by a whole group of you, all of you, who have changed your minds in the last 2 weeks? Because that tells us where things are going. Where'd you go from?
I switched from Kasich being my number one to probably leaning to Trump because Kasich decided not to come to Indiana campaign as though we're not important. Him and Cruz have combined together for each other's benefit and not for ours.
But he did that for you to support Cruz here.
I was never going to support Cruz as my first choice.
Who else switched? Why'd you switch?
I switched from Kasich to Trump because Kasich, Cruz have proven that they can't win a national election.
Who else switched? Why'd you switch?
Because Cruz doesn't tell it like it is. I think he's lying to me when he's talking to me. That's how I feel as a person and a voter.
So when Donald Trump uses the phrase "lying Ted,"
I believe it.
You believe it?
I believe it.
That doesn't bother you?
What has Ted Cruz lied about again? That's what I want to know.
Well, let's start with Iowa when he told everybody, all of the Ben supporters, that he's going home to Florida. And then he ends up winning Iowa. He has never apologized for that. I mean, come on. No, he hasn't. No, he hasn't.
Was there proof that he was...
Okay, hold on.
Was there proof
This is Indiana. Indiana's respectful, right?
That's right. Who's your values?
There was never proof that he had any fault in that.
It came from his campaign, and if he's a leader, he's got to take responsibility. The buck stops with the leader.
Do you guys agree with that?
Yes.
Yep.
Go ahead.
Here's the thing. He did apologize. If you watch the debates, this is
in the back. I don't want to have this battle over Iowa because we're here in Indiana, but I want to make this point, Megan. which is that even though we are moving towards the final decision of who's going to be the nominee, that they are more divided than in most focus groups I have done, that there is more animosity, and I'm wondering whether these people are going to come together. Are you going to support the nominee?
Yes.
You are?
No.
So there's no issue there?
No.
Who's the most electable of the three? Which one is most likely to defeat Hillary Clinton? How many of you say Trump? Now, you know that Trump is not doing as well in the polls as either Cruz or Kasich, so why do you think Trump is most likely to win?
I think the media has sabotaged Trump. I think that they ran lots of negative ads on him, and they made him into something that he really isn't. He's not establishment. That's what I like about him.
Partly going along with what she said, I went to a rally with Trump in Ohio, and they talked about all the the protesters. There were very few. It was very respectable. I sat with all professional people. I also went to the Greta show tonight, all professional people, and I went to the rally last Wednesday. And again, it was all professional, and it was young, old, black, white, but the media is portraying a certain type of blue collar, uneducated voter that goes to Trump rallies,
so
and
let's
that's
ask
not
that
the
question.
case.
How many do you think the media is against Trump? So on that we all agree.
No, I disagree. I firmly
You disagree. Okay, go ahead.
Well, certainly Fox News, I think, gives him more time than any other candidate.
That's ratings.
Well, he is. He's good TV.
That's what it is. It's all about ratings. The reason Trump can do it, Trump's the toughest guy. That's why he can beat Hillary. He's the toughest of the candidates. Ted Cruz is a nice guy, but we don't need any more nice guys in the White House. We need a tough guy in the White House, somebody that's not afraid to say what they think.
Go ahead, Angela.
Trump is winning, and I think the main thing is how can they expect Kasich and Cruz to win when they can't even beat Trump? They have to be in the primaries. How can we expect them to beat Hillary?
There's numerous polls and numerous conservative pundits out there that have said that Hillary will beat Trump.
Seth.
And there's the other way.
One of the things that we believe here in Indiana is in Hoosier values and Hoosier hospitality. At the end of the day, we're all going to walk out of this room, and we've got to decide what we're going to do with ourselves, whether we're going to walk out as friends or enemies. We're fighting against the same people. That's why I love Cruz. He recognizes that.
Absolutely.
Okay, so Carly Fiorina is coming up.
Yes.
I want a word or phrase to her.
Inexperienced.
Fierce.
Tough.
Irrelevant.
Accomplished.
Sharp.
Strong.
Outsourcer.
Brilliant.
Who's got a favorable impression of her? So most of you, would you like her to be the VP?
Yes.
No.
Yes.
How many of you would like her to be the VP?
Absolutely.
Tell me why, very quickly.
I think she's a consistent conservative, and I think she's a fighter, and I think she will be able to take down a lot of Hillary Clinton's attacks and as well as Donald Trump's attacks.
And Rebecca.
I like her because it seemed like she really had her finger on what was going on in the Middle East. Whenever they brought up any kind of any talking point, she knew what was going on.
Final question: how many of you believe that the Republican nominee is going to defeat Hillary Clinton in the fall? Raise your hands. And who believes Hillary Clinton is going to be the next president? So clearly most of you aren't reading the polls today. Megan, it's a tough group. It's a tough time here. They know that it matters, and emotions are pretty high, but I like what Seth said right there, which is I do believe that when this is done, they're going to walk out friends, they're going to walk out allies, and they're going to back whoever the nominee is.
Good for them.
Back to you.
Responsible citizens, and they got a lot to weigh. Thank you all so much, and Frank, thank you too.